3 days ago, David Beckham watched Argentina destroy England for the second time in his life. The first time in 1998, it cost him a red card, a World Cup exit, and 10 years as the most hated man in English football. The second time, he wasn't even playing. He was sitting in a private box in Atlanta, watching his own club's biggest star set up the goal that eliminated his country. And then watching Argentina's players unfurl a banner so politically explosive that the British Prime Minister's office demanded FIFA investigate it within 24 hours. He hasn't said a single public word about it. Not one. And that silence is exactly why this story matters. Because David Beckham isn't just an England legend who lost again to his oldest rival. He's the co-owner of the club built entirely around the man who just helped knock his country out, days before the biggest final in a generation. What actually happened in that stadium, what it means for FIFA, and what it means for Beckham's relationship with the biggest star in world football, that's what this video is about. And unlike a lot of what you've probably already seen online about this, every single thing in it is real. Let's start with the facts, because they're dramatic enough on their own. Argentina looked finished. England took the lead through Anthony Gordon and held it deep into the second half of the World Cup semifinal. Then, in the 85th minute, Enzo Fernandez scored a stunning strike from outside the box to level it. Minutes later, Lautaro Martinez headed home the winner, set up by a cross from Lionel Messi. Argentina had done what they've done all tournament. Come from behind, late, when it mattered most. 4 of their knockout round winning goals in this World Cup have come in stoppage time or extra time. This wasn't an accident, it's a pattern. England was out. Argentina was through to face Spain in the final. And then, in the celebrations that followed, several Argentina players held up a banner reading, "Las Malvinas son Argentinas." The Falklands are Argentine. Fans in the stadium joined in, some singing a chant that translates to, "Whoever doesn't jump is English." The moment was captured by cameras and spread immediately. Within a day, the British government had responded. A spokesperson for Prime Minister Keir Starmer said publicly, "The World Cup might not be ours, but the Falkland Islands definitely are." The UK has formally urged FIFA to investigate. FIFA's own disciplinary code explicitly bans political, ideological, or offensive messaging at stadiums. And this isn't the first time Argentina's federation has been fined for this exact banner. It happened before a warm-up friendly in 2014 too. This is where I want to be very clear with you. Everything I just told you is documented, on the record, reported by outlets from Al Jazeera to ESPN to Forbes. What I have not told you, because it isn't true and no one has reported it, is that Messi did anything to Beckham personally, that Beckham has expelled anyone from Inter Miami, or that any replacement signing is underway. If you've seen thumbnails or shorts claiming that, that's fabricated. What actually happened is dramatic enough without inventing anything, and I'm about to show you why. Here's the piece most coverage of this story is missing, and it's the reason I wanted to make this video. David Beckham's entire football identity was shaped by a moment against Argentina. In 1998, at the World Cup in France, a 23-year-old Beckham was sent off in the round of 16 for a kick aimed at Diego Simeone. England lost the match on penalties. Beckham spent years afterward as arguably the most vilified man in English football. Effigies burned, tabloid headlines calling for his head, over a single moment against this exact opponent. So when Argentina eliminates England again in 2026, in a stadium Beckham is sitting in as a club owner rather than a player, it's not unreasonable to think that lands on him with a weight most viewers watching at home don't carry. That's not speculation about his feelings, it's just context any reasonable person would factor in. Nobody needs to invent a secret gesture for this story to have emotional stakes. The history does that on its own. Then layer on the second half of who Beckham is in 2026. Co-owner of Inter Miami, the club whose entire modern identity was built around signing Lionel Messi in 2023. Beckham has spoken publicly, repeatedly, about what that relationship means to him. On the Smartless podcast, when a co-host joked about him being Messi's boss, Beckham immediately pushed back. "I can't look at it like that. I can't. I just can't." He's called signing Messi one of the most challenging things I've ever done, and after Messi's contract extension last year, Beckham posted that having a player who loves the game as much as he does was something he was personally proud of, closing the message, "Congratulations, my friend." That's the real relationship on record. Not adversarial, not transactional. By every public account, genuinely warm and personally important to Beckham specifically, which is exactly why a flag like that, in that moment, in that stadium, creates a real human tension worth talking about, even without anyone inventing what wasn't said. If you're wondering why a flag causes this much reaction, here's the actual history, because it's not really about a football rivalry. The Falklands War happened in 1982, a 10-week conflict after Argentina's military government invaded the British-administered islands, which Argentina calls Las Malvinas. Britain won the war. It remains, by a wide margin, the rawest point of friction between the two countries outside of football entirely. 4 years after that war, Diego Maradona scored his Hand of God goal against England at the 1986 World Cup, and later admitted the political weight of that war shaped how Argentina's players felt facing England on the pitch. In 1998, the year of Beckham's red card, England and Argentina met again in a match soaked in that same tension. This flag has appeared before major Argentina matches for over a decade, and it's been fined by FIFA before. It is, by design, meant to provoke exactly the reaction it's getting right now. So when people ask why a football banner produced a statement from the UK Prime Minister's office within 24 hours, that's why. It was never just about football, and Argentina's players almost certainly knew that when they held it up. I want to be upfront about the difference between what I can tell you as fact and where I'm about to speculate, because a lot of channels blur this on purpose, and I don't want to do that to you. Fact: Beckham was in the stadium. Fact: the banner happened in the celebration immediately after Argentina's win. Fact: Beckham's national team, his personal football history, and his business partner's national team are now on opposite sides of a diplomatic incident that FIFA is actively assessing for disciplinary action, with potential fines in the $5,000 to $20,000 range for the Argentine Federation. What I don't know, and what nobody reporting honestly can tell you, what Beckham personally felt watching it, whether he's raised it privately with anyone at the club, or whether it will affect anything about his relationship with Messi going forward. No interview, statement, or credible report has him commenting on the banner specifically as of this video. Anyone telling you Beckham has made a decision about Messi's future at the club because of this is telling you something that hasn't happened. Here's what's fair to speculate about, though, because it's a real business and reputational question, not a fabricated event. Inter Miami's entire commercial model since 2023 has been built on Messi as the face of the club, and by extension, tied closely to Beckham personally as the owner most publicly associated with him. If tension between Argentina's federation and English football ever became genuinely personal between Beckham and Messi, which again there's no evidence it has, it would be a real story precisely because of how much Beckham has built around that relationship. That's a legitimate "what this would mean if it happened" analysis. It is not the same as reporting that it happened. Set the banner story aside for a second, because Sunday's final is enormous on its own terms and deserves its own spotlight. Argentina, the reigning champions, are chasing a fourth World Cup title and their fourth consecutive major tournament win, something no side has done since Brazil in 1962. Messi, at 39, is playing in what may be his final World Cup, having already produced one of the tournament's most iconic moments with that assist to Lautaro in the semifinal. Argentina have scored 18 goals this tournament, more than any other team, and an almost unbelievable share of their knockout stage winners have come in the final 10 minutes or extra time, a team that has made a habit of not being finished until the whistle blows. Spain arrives having conceded just one goal across the entire tournament, a record 6 clean sheets, anchored by Rodri and goalkeeper Unai Simon. They eliminated Portugal, Belgium, and France en route to the final, and their breakout star, 19-year-old Lamine Yamal, is about to face Messi on the international stage for the first time in either man's career. There's a genuinely poetic detail here that doesn't need any embellishment. Yamal's family has a photo of him as a baby with Messi from a charity event years before either of them could have known this final was coming. That's the real story of Sunday. A 39-year-old trying to close his international career with a fourth title against a 19-year-old widely tipped to be the one who inherits his throne. Argentina chasing history. Spain chasing their second ever World Cup. All of it happening at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, with the Falklands controversy still working its way through FIFA's disciplinary process in the background. A reminder that even at football's biggest moment, the sport rarely stays separate from everything surrounding it. So here's where that leaves us. Beckham didn't expel anyone, there was no secret gesture caught on a hidden camera, no 2 a.m. decision, no surprise signing waiting in the wings. What actually happened is that a genuine, decades-deep political wound resurfaced in the most visible possible way, in a stadium where the co-owner of the world's most talked-about football club happened to be sitting with every reason in the world to feel it personally: his own playing history, his own national team, and his own business partner all tangled up in the same 90 minutes. You don't need to invent anything to make that story matter. It already does. Sunday, Argentina and Spain play for the World Cup. Beckham will be watching that too. And however he feels about everything that happened in Atlanta, my guess is he'll be doing it in Miami pink, cheering for his own player either way. If you want the real story as it develops, FIFA's ruling on the banner, and everything that happens Sunday, subscribe, because we'll be covering it as it's actually confirmed, not before.